Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick little video here. Um, this was going to be kind of a two-parter. I decided I wanted to do a kind of update on my foreign collection of King books. I hadn't done one for a while and I've gotten a few new ones, so I thought I'd just do an update on that. And I also wanted to talk about where I get my books and why I buy them from the places that I do. And the thing about my collection is it's almost 95 to 90% used. It comes from used bookstores, it comes from Goodwills, thrift shops, Savers, things, places like that. The other 5% either is from eBay, thrift books, other online books. I do have a few that I had bought brand new from like Barnes and Noble, but I think I only have like 2 or 3 books in my entire collection that I actually bought brand new. So I try and always buy them at the used bookstore. So that's kind of my thing, to go out on the hunt and try and find books at the bookstore. That was my thing to do on the weekend. And it's kind of nice because you can find a hardback book for $2 and boom, good to go. Now I have spent a little bit more than that on some of the books that I bought from eBay and thrift books, but they were kind of the more unique, different, like the newsletter that the Castle Rock newsletters. Those were a bit of a splurge purchase, but you know, those were on eBay and part of somebody else's collection. So, but for the most part, everything comes from used bookstores. Thrift books is also a big. I love thrift books. They can get me in trouble because there's always something that you can find on there. And the other day they were doing even a promotion where if you bought Stephen King books, you were getting like double points for it, which, you know, that's really nice because after you spend 100, you get 100 points, you get a free book. So I get it added to my collection that way as well. So that's the main thing that where I get my books, is all that way. I have a few that are also been handed down and gifted to me as well. So maybe it is actually closer to 90% than with those other figures in there. But I always try and support the local thrift shops whenever I travel. You know, I don't just go to Goodwill, Savers, Salvation Army, places like that. I also just, you know, any local secondhand bookstores I like to hit up. Like when we went to Colorado, we hit a couple of them. We're actually going to be going to Kansas City in next weekend, so I'm looking forward to having an updated video kind of showing what I got there. I may actually even do a video of me doing book hunting at one of the stores. I've seen a couple people do that on YouTube. I'm like, that looks kind of fun. Maybe I could do something like that. So we'll see how that goes. It might be hilarious. It might actually work out pretty well. And if it does, maybe it's something I'll do in the future. The other thing I wanted to discuss was my foreign collection. Now, most of the foreign collection I either bought on eBay or thrift books. Now, they've got a lot of different, so if you speak a different language and you want to read King in your own language or a different language to familiarize yourself to it, this is a good way to do it. I unfortunately do not speak a second language. I speak 2 languages, English and bad English. And so I ain't got no time to learn. But I do enjoy the covers on a lot of these. I think it's really cool to see how they're set up. You know, some of them you read back to front, you know, for the English world. So it's kind of cool to see. So I'll kind of go over all these with you and we'll see what you think. So I'm going to start with a big part of my collection, which is It. So obviously I've got quite a few It and Pennywise things in my collection, and I've got quite a few foreign It's. I have the Spanish one where it is S, and then I have the French one where it is Ka. And this is volume 1 of, I think, a 2-part, maybe a 3-part set. So I've got these 2. But then I also have number 1 of this set, number 2, and number 3. And the thing is, they all go together to make one picture. And you kind of see how on the third one, the Ka is a slightly different print. There are actually 2 versions of this. Same covers, just the Ka, the title is a little bit different font. And the Stephen King is a slightly different cover. And these are the French ones. So there's actually, I want to get these 2 in the third font, and then I want to get the third one in the other 2 fonts. So I get both sets of all 3. So I'm on the lookout for those. So random things you find out about when you search online. Then we come to my second favorite book, The Stand. And here again, I've got a lot of the French ones. So we've got this one, which is just a single copy of it. I don't know if this is the edited or unedited version, unfortunately. And then we have book 3 of the edition version. So they've got like 1, 2, and 3. And there again, like that one, the other two, the covers go together to make one big picture. So I'm on the look for the other two. I don't know if there's like a red Stephen King and a different font for those. So there might be another 3 to look out for. I'll keep an eye out for it. But I think with this one, I'd be happy if I just got all 3. And then I have the Japanese version of The Stand. And I just love the covers on these. They're so cool. And the books are so tiny. So this is volume 1, and I don't know how many volumes it is completely. So I don't know if there's 2 or 3, but more than likely, in most of the Japanese editions that I do have, they're 3. So I'm thinking it's probably 3. Then we have The Stand in Chinese. And I was very, very happy to get this one. I don't usually come across Chinese versions of King's books. So this one was actually from the New York Public Library. It was withdrawn and somebody put it up for sale on eBay. So glad I got that one. Then I also have another French one, Le Feu, The Stand. So this is the big unedited. It came out in the 90s when the other one came out with this cover in English, so very cool. Glad I came across that one. And then now we're going to go into the Dark Tower. Now I've got a couple here for the Dark Tower, and it looks like it's 2 different series again, and they're French. So we have Le Pistolero, drawing of the 3. You can kind of see those covers go together, and then I believe that's the Wastelands. And there again, I think that is, and again, it's the French. It's this company, Jailu. I'm not familiar with them. But there again, I don't speak French. But yeah, I think there might be another 2 that go with this one, and then a 3rd one that goes with these. So I'm keeping my eye out for those. Next one is, again, French. I don't know. I come across French seems to be the majority of them. And I don't know if it's because some of them are actually from Canada. So, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. But we have The Eyes of the Dragon in French. And we have this cover here. It's a nice hardback or turtleback kind of. It looks like this one was actually from Montawadaki. Oh, this one I think is actually from a Canadian library. So that's kind of cool. And then this one is actually, it's got the illustrations in it. So very cool, like that one. Then I have another smaller paperback version, also in French. The pocket version, and there again it's got the picture on the back. And I don't know if it's got the illustrations on the, oh, yeah, it does. It does have the illustrations. So very cool. Then one of my favorite short story collections of his, Different Seasons, and I believe, I think this one may be Italian. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not sure how that would be pronounced. I honestly don't know. I maybe need to Google Translate this. Let's see. It looks like it's from a library, but I can't read from where. So another pulled out library book. Then we have Stand By Me. At least that part's in English, but it's I don't know if it's just the single story. This again is another withdrawn from a library. Not sure where on this one. It doesn't look like it actually says. Oh, the Addison Public Library. So I like it. I like adopting books from libraries. Don't worry, I don't steal them. I pay for them all. And then this one here, these are 2 of the stories in Different Seasons, I believe, spring and summer. And then there's also another book where it's the other 2 stories with a similar cover, only it's kind of, the gray is on the other side and it says it there. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm on the lookout for the second one. I've seen it online a couple times, just didn't really want to pay that money for it. So I'll keep an eye out for it. Maybe I'll get lucky this weekend there. Now, these next ones are also short stories. This one is actually, and there again, I don't know if I think it's probably just the short story and not the entire collection, but it's Children of the Corn from Night Shift in Japanese. And I love that little black kind of shiny cover there at the bottom. So yeah, very cool. We also have in Japanese, Just After Sunset. Again, another library withdrawal. Not exactly sure which library again, but yeah, so very cool. And oh, let's see. It is the Santa Clara Public Library, Santa Clara, California. So thank you, Santa Clara. And then we have Misery in Arabic. And this one was actually, I was super excited to get this one because I had actually never seen a book in Arabic before. I mean, just in the wild, in a Stephen King book in Arabic. I should clarify. I've seen Arabic books, but so I was really super excited to see this one. I'm like, I had to add that to my collection. And then looking on the back, they've got Christine, Different Seasons, The Green Mile, and The Running Man. So I might keep my eye out for those and see if I can get those. And the neat thing about this is, again, it goes kind of okay. So it's kind of backwards. You read it right to left instead of left to right. So so this is actually the back cover, and or the front cover and you read it this way. So it's a little bit different. It'd be a bit reversed. So I think that's really cool. Same with Japanese books. The next one is Dreamcatchers. Again, this is a Japanese one, and I love the way they do this. It's another one where the covers, and I don't know why, they do it with Desperation, and you can see back there where the two covers go together to make a picture. Well, they do that a lot in the foreign editions, and I just think that is so cool. Oh, how they all go together to make one picture. And I only have 2, 3, and 4 of this. I'm on the lookout for number 1. Have not been able to find it yet. I've got it on my thrift books wish list, so whenever it comes in, I'll get a little notice, and that bad boy's mine as long as it doesn't cost too much. So next, Christine, and this is in Spanish. This one I actually came across locally. It was at Savers, so I was kind of surprised that a lot of my foreign editions I do actually buy online. This is another one that I came across in the wild. It was on our trip to Colorado. I got it in Omaha at the Emporium, I believe it was called. Very cool place. You should check it out. They have different sections of all sorts of nerd, pop culture, nostalgic areas, like, Care Bears, G.I. Joe, Transformers. And then they actually even had an entire, horror section and an entire Stephen King section. So I'm like, I was in heaven. And I picked up this bad boy. It's the Green Mile in Greek. So really think that's kind of cool. It's not the best binding. Some of the pages are a little loose, but when am I going to come across another copy of that? So I had to snag that up. Next we're back to some French covers, and these are from Needful Things, but in French it's actually Bizarre, and this is 1 and 2. I believe there's also a third one, but I have not been able to get the third one. Now it doesn't look like in this one the pictures go together, so they didn't do them all in like they did in the past, but still cool pictures. I think that's very neat. So Needful Things. Then we also have another French one. This one is his nonfiction, Dance Macabre, or Macabre. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I never get it right. But anyway, I think that's such a cool cover. I mean, it makes I don't know if it makes any sense whatsoever with the book at all. But yeah, different. Then we have, again, French, Firestarter. Only in French, it's Charlie for, the main character's name. I believe they do something also similar in with Gerald's game. They call it Jesse instead of Gerald's game. So I think that's kind of interesting. The thermometer melting. I do not have Gerald's game in French. I just know that because I've seen it online. Cycle of the Werewolf in German. The only German book I believe that I have. Very cool. Little thin bun. It does have the illustrations in it as well. So very cool. French again. Carrie. And no change to this one. Same name. I believe, and this is actually the only one. There's no 2, 3, whatever. This is a single because it was such a small book. So very cool. The one that started it all. Then we have the last 2, and these are both revival. But the cool thing about these is I was able to pick up another copy, and this is again the New York Public Library discard pile. Revival in Chinese. So there again, very excited to come across another Chinese book. I don't have a ton of Chinese books that are Stephen King. I just don't know if they translate a lot of them or if they're just popular and they don't get rid of them or what the situation is, but I was glad to get these 2. And then the next one is Revival in Polish. So I was super excited to get this one as well because I'd never seen a Polish book, Stephen King book before either. So I was glad to snag that one up and add that one to my collection. Now I do have a foreign copy of Playboy, and I'll be doing a video later on that's going to kind of go over my comic Playboy heavy metal Stephen King story related collection. But I'll show it at that point. But I accidentally ordered it because I thought it was the U.S. version that has the short story in it, and instead it was the Polish one, so I couldn't read it anyway. But luckily I did get the U.S. version. So I do have Stephen King story in Polish in a magazine, so I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, that's my foreign collection. I've added a couple of things to it since the last time I showed it, and there again, you know, I don't speak any of these language. I just collect them because they're cool covers or they're interesting to have. That I think they're really neat. I expand my collection, just, you know, the entire kingdom. I always add to it, and I just think they have some of the coolest covers out there. So if you have any questions, comments, leave them below. I hope everyone's staying safe, and keep reading.